Solve by factoring notes. These are going to seem a little overwhelming, but know that this is probably the first time you're seeing how to solve by factoring. We're going to do two examples. The first example is column 1. So in column 1, there's no number in front of the x squared, so that means we can actually skip this step, which says, is there a GCF? And we can move right on to the next step, name the a, b, and c. So this equation is in standard form where we have something x squared plus something x plus a number equals 0. When it's like that, we can name our a, b, and c from right here. Our a is the number in front of the x squared. If we don't see a number, it's 1. Our b is the number in front of the x, and that's -10. Notice the sign goes with the number. And our c is that number without an x, so it's 21. Now we're going to list all the factors that multiply to make a times c. So if I write a times c, I have 1 times 21. 1 times 21 is 21. Now I'm going to list all the factors or pairs of numbers that you multiply to get 21. I could have 1 times 21 or -1 times -21, because if you multiply two negative numbers, you get a positive. I can also have 3 times 7 and -3 times -7. Once we do that, we need to determine the pair of numbers that if we add them, we get our b, and our b is -10. Well, 1 plus 21 is 22. -1 plus -21 is -22. 3 plus 7 is +10, but -3 plus -7 equals -10, exactly what we're looking for. So the pair of factors from our list that add up to be our b are -3 and -7. Now we're going to use that tic-tac-toe board that we used when we multiplied. But instead of starting with the outside and finding the inside of the tic-tac-toe box, we're going to fill in the inside and try to find the outside. So I'm going to make my tic-tac-toe box. The middle box is ax squared. Well, our a was 1, so it's just 1x squared. You can put the 1 in front if you want. Your c goes right there, so our c was 21. And then the pair of factors that we picked, they go right here, but with an x next to them. And it doesn't matter which one you put where. So again, I'm just filling in the blank with these numbers. Now we're going to factor out the GCF from each row and column. So I'm going to look down this row and see what they have in common, or what the largest number is that will divide into both. Well, when I look here, I see that they have an x in common. When I look here, I need to figure out what number can I divide into 3 and divide into 21. I always like to check my smaller number. Well, 3 can divide into 3 one time, and 3 can go into 21. So that means 3 is my GCF that I can pull out. And because the first thing I see is a negative, I'm going to make it be negative. When I look this way, the only thing they have in common is an x. And when I look this way, I know 7 can go into 7. Can 7 go into 21? It sure can. So I'm going to pull out a 7, and because my sign is negative right there, I'm going to make it be negative. So everything I wrote in blue, those are our factors, and we're going to write them out right here, x minus 3 times x minus 7. So when you did multiplication last week, you multiplied these and found the middle. Today, we filled in the middle and found the outside. And we can use these factors to solve. We're going to set each factor equal to 0 and solve for x. So because it's -3, I'm going to add 3 to both sides, and x equals 3. And I'm going to add 7 to both sides, and x also equals 7.